Hello, hello, hello. The beauty of live streaming, now you can hear me. So let's just start this again. Good morning, everybody. I'm DJ, Director of Comics here at VeeFriends. Back doing some live drawing here for the next hour and a half. I'll be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday for sure, 8 a.m. Eastern time right here on the channel. Drawing all different types of stuff. Mostly Sunday comics. But if you're not familiar with VeeFriends, again, VeeFriends is created by Gary Vaynerchuk, 251 characters, different traits, soft skills, hard skills. Hence the name V and VeeFriends. If you've got a kid under 10 and under, VeeFriends Cartoons, YouTube Kids. We've got the VeeFriends trading card game, highly collectible. We've got Topps Chrome coming out May 7th. Okay, great. And then, oops, I'm going to go live on, pardon me, we got to be live on Instagram too, channels. Let's get it going. One moment. We got to copy in this code for the Instagram stream. All, paste, save. Hopefully that'll go. Unable to connect. Interesting. Well, maybe we will not be live on Instagram today. Technical difficulties. Bear with me. This is what happens when I'm off for a week and come back. Let's just remove this channel. Nope. I want to get the Instagram going. A lot of people watch on Instagram. Sending data. So it says. I'm going to be drawing some comics. If you watched the, if you were checking the Sunday comic, okay, now we're streaming live on Instagram. We're getting back to it now. Go live. Now, TikTok's doing weird things. It's like you got to put this two objects that are the same shape. 3 and 3, okay. On what? Select two objects that are the same shape. T and T. Okay. All right, now we should have been live. What is going on? There we go. We're live on TikTok. Good morning. Sorry, TikTok. Something weird was happening on my TikTok end, but anyways. We're live on every channel now. Thank you so much. Actually, now we're live on every channel. Goodness gracious. You get out of sync if you haven't done this for a week. Actually, my machine needs to warm up, is what the problem is. Thanks for following on VeeFriends Comics, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, let's see what's in here for the first of the day. First mini of the day would be our friend Cynical Cat, Bubblegum Cynical Cat. All right. Awesome. Okay. How about we draw some stuff? Maybe we'll talk a little bit about what transpired at our comics offsite last week. It was pretty exciting. 911 Initiative said, great topic. Good morning, everybody. Good morning over on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. This was the Sunday comic from the week. Let me go ahead and turn on. I'm just going to review this real quick. The VeeFriends Sunday comic strip. Zoom in on this a little bit. I don't know why this is all moved, to be honest. That's better. Let's just open it up in another tab here. Never mind the FU mole. Okay, we're just going to open this up this way. Young lady wants to open her own coffee shop. Basically, them, T-H-E-M, are all saying not to do it. In this economy, it's the worst time. Aren't you too old for that to do that now? There are already so many of those, it'll never work. Just get a 9-to-5 job like everyone else, way smarter. She's like, maybe they're right. She's kind of brokenhearted now. And then up here in the clouds, Ambitious Angel sees this going down. So she swooshes on in. Whoosh. Smashes through. I like the... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this panel. We're going to insert that image so I can do my normal swooshing around. There we are. So now I can really swoosh around. All right, whoosh. Little rainbow action. That was somebody in the chat said that, I believe, to make the whoosh a rainbow. But what if they're wrong? Ambitious Angel. Don't listen to them. Them, never did anything. So you think I should go for it? Of course I do. And I think you should dream bigger. Like how? So she's telling her like a single shop, or maybe you want to start a movement, like a place that brings people together, maybe multiple shops. Okay, there's a problem there. She has the problem of, I have no money to start this business. And eavesdropping over here is Practical Peacock. Ahem. If I may interject. Work at a coffee shop first. Learn the business, make connections, and get paid while figuring it all out. Also a little nod to Peg there. Ambitious Angel superfan. She liked that a lot. She says, oh, so I can start small without jumping in blind. That's right. Shoot for the moon, but build your spaceship first. Very practical. Thank you, Practical Peacock. Where are you? Here, let's put Practical Peacock up on the... Let's put him up there. Up on the board. All right. He deserves a place on the board today. And then we've got the headlines. 5 years later. If you're not dreaming big, who's dreaming big for you? Experts agree best time to start is now. Don't delay. Start today. Ambition meets action. Small steps, big future. The experts are them. Start where you are. Don't stop believing. Coffee and gratitude to go. So you see that she started a little coffee shop with Gratitude Gorilla there. New shop serves coffee and inspiration with every cup. And a new doggy daycare opened. Don't know what that means. You'll have to stay tuned for that. That was yesterday's Sunday comic strip. This week, I'm going to be working on a little bit something different. Let's just turn off these headlines here. We got a smart TV. And this young guy. And we're going to have a little bit of Monday Mole happening here. Happy Monday, everybody. It's the FU Monday Mole. Let me turn off some of these lines here. And I'm just going to get right to it, I think. We're going to get in here and start doing some, maybe a little inking, a little penciling today. Comic books will come soon. We have comic books coming. Believe me, that's what our whole offsite was about, were the comic book stories, and it was pretty wild. Working with Gary all week on those concepts. I can't really tell you about any of them. Highly top secret. but definitely super amazing. Let's just do that. Let's just work on this top tier today. This top tier, I think we'll be able to do that. I'll explain what's going on in this comic as I'm talking. Getting my sea legs back on the stream here. So thanks for watching, hanging out. Happy Monday. Gonna grab my smooth train brush. This is a kind of a version of a character that we had before in the comic. At least, maybe I didn't mean to make him this guy, but it's People Pleaser Perry kind of thing. You can go back and, if you're familiar with the VeeFriends comics and you've been reading, you've probably seen him before. People Pleaser Perry. The idea here is that his TV blinks off. He's watching his shows. So here, I'm just going to turn the text on so you can see. Hey, what happened to my show? And then we've got, are you still watching? Maybe you should do something else before the weekend is over. So it's a smart TV. Ah, smart TV, you're right. Is right. Maybe Smart TV could be a new little side character. Just came to me. Thought it was funny. Smart TVs and smartphones, if they actually were smart and gave you good advice, they would tell you to turn them off. Go do something with your life. I don't like that line. Okay. More of a odd-shaped oval head there. What's my hourly rate? I don't really have an hourly rate. And I'm not really for hire right now, So it's my full-time job here is at VeeFriends. Now, I can tell you, I just had this conversation with a couple of the artists on the team when I said about setting rates for artists. I think it's pretty easy. I always used to say I wanted to make about $100. This is back when I was doing freelance. I wanted to make about $100 an hour doing freelance spot illustration and stuff like that. And if I knew, say for instance, if I knew a page took me 4 hours, well then that was $400 for the page, which is about $400 is the page rate for something, the high level at like Marvel and DC, and then corporations pay a lot more than that, like, because they got to own the rights to everything and, stuff like that. So something to keep in mind for artists out there. But that's an easy formula if you're an artist looking to figure out your day rate or your hourly rate. You just go, all right, what do I want to make per hour in my life? You're doing a skill that's definitely different. So you have to figure out what your time to task is what I call it. So how long does it take you to draw a comic page? And then that's how you can figure out your page rates or your spot rates or whatever you want to call it. And then another trick is to double it whenever it's a job that you don't really want to do. Just double your rate up, $200 an hour. And you'll be shocked that people will actually pay it. There's been a couple jobs I've done in the past where I was like, I needed the money, I guess. So I was like, I don't really want to do this though. It's like not my jam. And I just doubled my rate, and the person was like, let's go. And I'm like, oh no, now I have to do it. But at least I'm making, at least I'm compensated. So that was good. Lots of people joining over on TikTok, coming in and out. Thanks for joining. If you're hanging out and you're new to the stream, comics@VeeFriends.com. Email me, comics@VeeFriends.com. We'd like to send you something if you're new. What do I think the average wage in third world countries is? It's very low. I know that for a fact because I have artists, I have art friends across the world, and it just is what it is. It's also a lot cheaper to live in other countries, many countries. The United States, your rent could be, depending on where you're living, it might be $2,000, $3,000 a month. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Or if you're smart, you find a nice place to live, but still, your mortgage is going to be at least $1,000 or something like that a month, But yeah, there's a lot of people that pay way less for people that are living in. I don't like to even. I hate saying third world countries. I don't like to say that. I don't know why. It just feels dirty to me. It feels like I'm insulting the people that are there. This is my personal. I know no one meant anything insult by that, but I don't like to say third world countries like, oh, you poor people or something. I don't like to say that. Just they live in another country that doesn't have, as much, or it costs less, definitely to live. And in a lot of ways, some of the people that I know that live in those countries are actually happier. Some of the countries. Some of them not so much. Where are you from, Happy? Where are you living? Happy's asking. Yeah, comparably, I'll say that I know, I'm not going to call out the name of the company, but a very big company pays artists from the Philippines like $20 per page compared to $200 to $300 a page for new artists. That's pretty low, but the cost of living is also a little bit lower where they live. But I don't know. I've got a weird set of, not a weird set of principles. I just have like some rules in my mind that, like, I believe that women should be paid equally for their work. I've been involved in many situations where a female artist wasn't getting paid as much as the male artists, and many times better than the artist, the male artist. And that just irked me. I don't know. It was like, it did not irk me, but it just didn't feel right in your gut, It's like, why? What? That doesn't make any sense, Weird decisions people make. Good morning, J-Rob. What's going on? The average wage in my country, the Congo, so Happy in Congo, is $30 per month. So that's something to keep in mind. About how much is your rent, or how does your living situation, or how does that work in the Congo? I'm not sure. You can educate us and the 264 people listening across all the other channels. And what kind of work do you do in the Congo? What's really funny to me is that a lot of people want to get out, or a lot of people want to come to America that I still know. And a lot of people here want to get out. They're like wanting to leave, and they don't really realize how good they have it. Eggs and groceries are a little bit high right now here. But people are spoiled. I live with my parents. Impossible to rent a house with that wage. I work in a scam call center. Yep, call centers. Same thing with India, my friend. I got a lot of friends. I have a few friends that work in call centers in India, and they do pretty good. But if you're familiar with our ethos here at VeeFriends and our founder Gary Vaynerchuk, I'd say you know, even though it might feel like you're kind of stuck in the situation that you're in, and you may very well be for the time being, but try to visualize what you want in life and kind of build little piece by piece, you know, piece by piece. It might not all come together right away, but don't just feel like that you're stuck with your unhappiness if you're unhappy. Don't feel like you're stuck for life. Every human being has the capacity to change their life and their circumstances, even if it seems impossible. We're built to create our own stories and build your own life. So I feel like I'm stuck because there's no option for me, absolutely none. Doctors make less than $100. Yeah. But yet you're on TikTok right now. How does that work? I'm curious. If everybody's so... Are like cell phones really cheap? And the internet's really cheap? How's that work? So I get that a lot. People will say like, I can't afford anything, and then they're on TikTok or they have an iPad and stuff like that. I'm just curious, how do you afford that stuff? Cheap Android phones, and I'm in a scam call center building. They have Wi-Fi. Okay. You don't seem to be happy about scamming people. So good for you. Yeah. Trying to organize my thoughts a little bit. Hey, you suck. Anna Olseman. Thanks. Good morning. Good morning to you. She just like pops in the chat. She's like, hey, you suck. And she's like a Monday ball. What's your deal, Anna? Hey, good morning, you suck. All right. Sweet. Why? Tell me why I'm always looking to improve myself. You know, your opinion really matters to me. That you think I suck, I would really like to know what I'm doing wrong so that I can think about it all day. Probably not. I'm probably just kidding around. I probably don't care at all. Happy, I don't know the geography of whereabouts. I mean, I know where the Congo is, of course, but I don't know the difficulties of getting out of there. But if you have a degree in software engineering and the job offers are too low, I think your mission might be to get out of there. But I understand. I know a lot of immigrant families, and I understand the commitment to family and stuff like that. So hang in there, dude. Try to keep a positive mindset. And I really, this is just me talking here. I know a lot of artists and a lot of people that have been in really bad situations. No worse than yours, really. Not to, I just know some people that have been in really bad situations and they've gotten out of it by just hard work, discipline, step by step, building a plan, getting the heck out of where they're at, whether that's a bad relationship, a location that they're in. I've seen it over and over again. You just need to believe in it, what you're doing, and find a way out. I've heard of people like just totally hightailing it, getting out. I wouldn't suggest coming to America, to be honest, right now, but it might be a little difficult, and things are a little nuts right now, especially for immigrants, which is sad to say. It bothers me even saying that, but Happy, I'll tell you the story of I was just hanging out with our founder, Gary Vaynerchuk. He was born in Belarus under Soviet rule, and it was very like Cold War days, and they were very, very poor. And his family ended up, their country made a deal, and his family got out of there, but he came here with very little and built step by step. Didn't start making content till he was 34 years old, helped his dad build the liquor store, very committed to family. And not everybody can do that. That's tough to build to be that successful in that level. But the idea of not giving up on the circumstances that you're in or that you're dealt, the cards that you're dealt, and just trying to stay motivated, stay encouraged in life. Because what are you going to do? Just give up? What are you going to do? Just give up? Anna left. She didn't tell me why I suck. If anyone needs help out of a hole, DM me. There's none produced down here yet. Are you guys digging all the extra comics? Looking through the chats. That's right. I mean, for now, that's all you can do is keep on working. I can't give you. I wish. I always say don't take life advice from a cartoonist. I've been at this for a long time. Definitely had the years of eating ramen and just struggling. I've done that in the past too, even the thing that I'm complaining about, or I'm not complaining, like, my poverty level was way lower or way less problem than what other people have in other countries, so I cannot complain, but there were definitely times where I couldn't afford to pay my bills or whatever when I was very young. So I didn't, you have a degree. In America, it's very hard. It's very expensive to get degrees, and then even then, the degrees don't really matter, So a lot of youngsters are carrying around college debt here that they'll be paying until they're in their 40s, 50s, maybe their entire life. That's the game. It's a scam. So it's kind of a scam. What do we got here? We got this kid. He's like, hey, what happened to my show? Anyways, stay motivated. Happy Monday, Clem House Art. Have a great week. Back to you over there on Instagram. I saw Rocky give an update. Eric was asking about Rocky over in the chat. I saw him give an update the other day. All right, I'm gonna turn this around for a second. 1 second. That. Nope. All right, that's good. Hey, which one of these do you want me to open? This is the pencil toppers. It's time to open a pencil. This is a mini break. If you're new to VeeFriends and watching, just give me the color that you'd like me to open in the chat. If you're brand new to VeeFriends, email us at comics@veefriends.com. We'd like to send you something. And make sure you follow us at VeeFriends Comics, at VeeFriends Comics on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just resetting the stream for a minute. But you gotta let me know which pencil topper you want me to open while I'm yammering here. VeeFriends is over 250 characters created by Gary Vaynerchuk. You might know him on the internet as Gary V. If you don't, hey, Happy over there on TikTok, look up Gary V, man. Get pumped, get some motivation. Do it. VeeFriends cartoons, kids 10 and under, get them on that YouTube, kids. We've got Topps Chrome coming out on May 7th. I got some cards in there. You'll hear about that soon. And VeeFriends trading card game. Basically, we're like the next Pokemon, building it in your face, as Gary says. I like that. These are the VeeFriends minis. So these are pencil toppers. We're going to open one of these in a second here. I'm looking around the chat. Pink, 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 orange. Okay, I'm going to look up. We'll look up. And then we've got the VeeFriends Comics coming out very soon. Some delays. And I'll be streaming every day this week, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time on these channels. You can come on back, subscribe. I think pink's going to win it. Pink, pink, pink. All right, cool. Pink, and we'll throw this orange up there. Let's open this up. How I do it is I'm trying to beat the Bubblegum Cynical Cat off the top of this pencil. See who's in there. It is an ambitious angel. I think that's a sign because she's right here. That's going to pop the cat off. Ambition and angels beat cynical cats all day long, Anna. I like it when people come in and try to troll because, like, they have no idea. They have no idea that it doesn't affect me, or I don't really, that I've been around the block a few times. Oh, internet. How I love you. Okay, I accidentally inked this on the wrong layer. Let's just... get anything that I might have missed. Cut and paste. Down there. Looking good. Okay, so as I'm inking this, let me tell you about, I'm inking a little thing here. This kid's in his living room. The weekend's almost over. It's almost Monday, and Monday Bowl appears. Let's go ahead and just ink him up since I got him over here, and it's interesting to look at while I'm drawing this. Yeah, so Comics Offsite. We did that last week. It was a full week in Minnesota. Kind of random town. We were in Rochester, Minnesota, and we all lived in an Airbnb, which was like a big mansion kind of house, for a week. And what did we do there? We we listened to, we all were kind of together. There was a big group of us, and Gary had, of course, a mission. He had a list of concepts, let's say. I'm going to keep this very vague. And a direction for the VeeFriends comics. I kind of already knew a lot about the things, but I would say that definitely the new ideas that he brought to the table, which were new ideas to us, they obviously were not new ideas to Gary. He had a little list, and he was going through them, and he was surprising everybody, including, a lot of the old school VeeFriends people. May and Andy and Rips was there, and the concepts were different. And I'd say the best way to think about it is this: we have these 251 plus characters, and Gary sees the opportunity to expand upon that in a way that's sort of like having an IP library of different libraries. Not libraries, but different concepts. So think of it like TV shows or pilots. And so therefore, you're going to see a lot more comics and a lot more concepts and situations and ensembles. And when they become locked in the comics, they'll be canon. That means you're going to find out real soon what the characters are really about, where they live, where they're from, what the heck they're doing. You're going to find out all about that very soon. And we mapped out, there's like 20 different buckets. I'm calling them like story buckets or story worlds kind of thing, or issues or pilots or whatever. We mapped out about 20 of those. And some of them are origin stories. Some of them are ensemble concepts. And they're all fun. They're all super duper fun. DJ, where can I find the Sunday comics here in Pennsylvania? It's going to be tough. If you go to lee.com or lee.net, let's do this. lee.net/markets. You're going to get not a whole lot happening in Pennsylvania. There is the Sentinel, which I believe is in Carlisle, PA. But you can also subscribe to these papers online, and over on X, Twitter X, there's @Miss Lynch, who's doing some subscriptions. So if you type in VeeFriends newspapers over on Twitter, you're gonna find someone that's doing a subscription kind of service. She's going and collecting the comics and then mailing them out to people. So if you want a physical copy of the Sunday comic strips, that's one way to do it right now. And can't guarantee that that's always going to happen because that's a lot of work. So it's not like an official guarantee from VeeFriends, but some of the community members are stepping up to make sure that the other fans get the newspaper comics. But yeah, we're only in the Lee newspapers, which is the second largest. Gannett's the first, I think. You don't even have to know any of these details. But maybe you learned something. Gannett is a series of newspapers across the country. They own many. They're the largest, I believe. And then Lee is like the second largest owner of newspapers in the country. And they basically run the newspapers. There's other ones too, but I think Lee's the second biggest. Yep. So I can't talk about it. I can't talk about yet. I can't talk about any of the concepts really, but I would say pay attention to the streams. My stream, Ali's stream, Chris is potentially going to stream in the future. Pay attention to the comic streams. you're going to see some sneak peeks as we move forward. I'm going to fix this eye here. You're going to see some sneak peeks. And comics are going to come very soon. Comic books are going to really change the way that VeeFriends is. That's it. You're going to get first appearances, of the different characters across many stories. And very excited about that. I'm an impatient panda. Had a lot of delays and a lot of surprises, but we've learned a lot. I gotta say, we encountered another delay. This is something that happened. I'm not going to say exactly what or get into details, but another unforeseen delay happened. And I was beside myself. I was pretty much just defeated. Man, I cannot believe this is another freaking delay. What is happening? Why can't we, what in the world's happening? But Gary was very, calm as a cucumber about it. He was just like, no big deal. We'll just do this. And I'm like, man, he's got a different mindset for sure. So that helped me get back into track by being there with Gary when that happened. Because I was just like, okay, this is not the end of the world. But it felt like, man, I cannot believe this. I can't believe it. Very unhappy. It was a very unhappy moment. Out of all the happy moments that were there was a very unhappy moment when I learned about just another delay, another 2-week delay, And but the perspective, he's like a lot of these characters, you got to think of it, they all come born out of Gary concepts. So perspective pigeon. My perspective at that moment was, gosh darn it, are you freaking kidding me? Unbelievable. Not a creative vibe I was in at that very moment. And then he changed the perspective to something else, and I was like, okay, all right, that makes me feel better. That made me feel better. It took me a while to shake off that, that losing feeling. But it got me back on track, and it made me feel better. But I'm still kind of like, are you kidding me? But again, when things don't go as planned, I learned this on different jobs I've had, is that there are no real failures, there's just learnings. So if something goes wrong, I go, okay, we were not anticipating that. So now I know for the next time that it won't happen. Or I can double check things, or, and it can be such a small thing that delays everything. One missed step. It's just very frustrating. But dwelling on it, sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. Thought Wrong said, can't wait. Gary hinted at a Harpic story coming. If he hinted at it coming, I can confirm the hint that it's coming. And I can tell you one more, is that you've never seen anything like it. You've never seen anything like it. Now, somebody asked what it was like hanging out with Gary all week. Well, for me, it's a little different. So that's like the first time I've hung out that much, living in the same house with Gary and the crew. Number one, everybody else is extremely fit. So their morning routines are way different than mine.
there's some like serious working out, and I'm just like I gotta meditate and like have some coffee and get to work because I wake up way before everybody else. So that's funny that everyone else is definitely way more physically fit, which is kind of inspiring too. But you know, not my cup of tea in the mornings. Although I will want to lose some weight. Anyways, that was the first takeaways. Everybody's got like fitness as their take care of your body first kind of thing, and I like that. The other thing is just, you know, I've been following Gary for so long, and I've read all of his books that I kind of know. You know, I'm like, I kind of know. I anticipate what he's probably gonna say. You know, a lot of the times I'm like, yeah, he's. Someone has a question, I'm like, I've heard him answer this question before. I know where he's gonna go with this one, and that kind of makes it seem like, oh wow, you guys are so in sync. I'm like, it's just because I've been a fan for so long, or not even a fan. That sounds like that's probably the word. Like, of course, a fan, yeah, but a believer in Gary for so long that. But seeing him operate, like seeing the actual brainstorming process, because usually we do quicker meetings, and this was really like in depth, having a bounce around. No ideas were wrong. I love that. I kind of do that with our comics team as well internally. Like when we're in a brainstorming mode, there's like no ideas that are bad ideas. But if he's kicking around the high level concept saying like, what if, okay, not even what if, like, here's what it is, guys. This is what it is. And then people will start jamming as far as like, okay, what if this? And he's like, no, because, and like he's guiding this ship. You know what I mean? And then something will, like, that's the beautiful part about that is like we walked in only knowing a little bit about, let's say, Notorious Ninja. And I had to be the one, like I was like the one reminding too, because I've watched a lot of the old internal notes about Ninja, and I had caught the thing about him being a skateboarder, and I remember, I don't know, you don't have to stick with this. It doesn't have to be canon. We can change it right now. But you did say internally that he was a skate park, and he was like, oh yeah. So like that part got folded back into the Ninja, and I wish I could say more about that, the Ninja story, because it's very exciting. Ninja is very exciting to me. It's just such a cool character. And I also, you know, then I'm like the guy that's like, all right, you know, I also want to be culturally sensitive to, and I know a lot about ninjas, guys. It's just what it is. I'm a big Ninja fan. So the actual history and culture of ninja and like Japanese families and stuff like that, I want to be definitely culturally sensitive and not just like, hi-ya, it's ninjas killing people. Like, it's way deeper than that. And that felt great too. And I wish I could say more, but it's going to be super sick, super cool. And that's just one thing. So jamming on that for 90 minutes together on just one character, and being able to take not only what we did was I took my regular notes that I take inside of my Miro board, where it's like a very maybe I'll show more of it this week during the stream, so tune in. But very dynamic. I like to create like that, because there were a couple times during this get together where somebody just said something offhand and it snapped, like a last name, let's say. Someone said a character's last name, and then Gary said it differently the second time he said it, and that little saying it one way differently was the thing. It was like, that's it. And it means, and the name was Loserson. I'll just say Loserson. Loserson, the son of losers. And we were like, oh my god, this is it. That's all I could say. That's pretty vague. Just remember Loserson. You'll never forget Loserson. I feel like... So, okay. Alright, what do we got here? Monday Mole's busting through his... It's like, hey, Monday Mole, did you just dig a hole in my floor? He's like, sorry, not sorry. Alright, let's do these balloons real quick. A V-lever, yes. True believers, like if you know Stanley, like Excelsior true believers or true V-levers. What am I primarily streaming on? I use OBS as my scenes, and then I'm using Restream to broadcast into YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. So we've got people coming in commenting mostly from YouTube, and then you guys are over there on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram, but I imagine this is on another platform. Yeah, I like the community. There's a lot of community. Rob's over there, Keith, Eric, Today in Space, Rob are all have been over there on the YouTube stream. So a lot of the OGs come over there. Angel's over on Facebook. There's a little bit of a delay on YouTube. It doesn't really matter because I'm usually just rambling. But yeah, it was a good week, and a lot was beyond that. The bonding amongst the team, I think, a little bit, and the art team. You know, Chris Faison was there, and Ali Castro was there. We have a different perspective coming into this as artists. As artists, just kind of the different. I've been at this for almost 30 years, professionally, and Ali Castro, she's just kind of starting out. She's never worked on. It's the first time she's done like comic strips like we do. Sorry. And she was asking about, it'll be the first time that she's drawn a comic book. So she's definitely on a certain comic, and that will be developed. And so we were able to kind of give our insight, do a little mentoring, listen to her, where she's coming from, and exchange stories and stuff like that. It's important to have dinners together and break bread together and listen to struggles and that kind of stuff. I'm real cautious, like giving advice to any youngsters, or I don't even want to call her a youngster. That sounds like she's like a kid, but people that are up and coming, I'm always been very cautious, because like, number one, the reality is creative life is not an easy life. So there's a lot of people that have like pie. I'm not saying that our people are like this, but there's a lot of people that enter the stage very pie in the sky. My channel is at VeeFriendsComics.com, at VeeFriendsComics on YouTube. Yep. Hey, everybody follow that. And if you're new and you're watching and hanging out, make sure you email us at comics@VeeFriends.com. We like to send you something. Corso or I will send you something. We read that. And we also pass good messages on to Gary. So sometimes we get some pretty deep, deeper messages from people, because we're talking about life and stuff here, as well as I draw. And that's just what I was saying about mentoring. I've been told, hey, you're a good leader and stuff like that, and but inside I don't feel that way. Like I feel like, oh man, I don't know if I should give them advice or not, because what worked for me may not work for them, but it's pretty sound advice. you know. So if I can help somebody avoid years of missteps or something like that, you know, I could tell them. I just had to. I think the reason now that I'm thinking through it in my head as I'm saying this is the reason I'm reluctant to do that sometimes is because when you're first giving advice to people and they seem open to listening, then they don't take the advice. And then you feel like, man, I gave you that advice and you didn't listen. And these days, I don't really care. Like, I'm going to give the advice. And if you don't listen, I just go, well, that's part of your journey. And you know what? You'll figure it out. There's a Pearl Jam lyric like, the young can lose faith because they can't see beyond today. Yeah. The young can lose faith because they can't see beyond today. And that's wisdom that the old can't give away. Hey. Constant recoil. Back and forth. That's what you learn. The older you get, the more you realize you don't know anything. It's just how it goes. So Trump inked up the sorry, not sorry. F you, mole. Why are you busting through my... See, get it? But yeah, super excited. I had people messaging me going like, I can't wait to hear all the story ideas. I'm like, well, we don't really want to talk about. We just want to show you. So we got to make them, you know. So there's a lot to be drawn. There's a lot of titles. I'll be reaching out to probably, you know, we'll need more talent on some of the books, but the styles matter, and you know, understanding comics matters, storytelling and that. So there's a couple people I want to try out on some things and see what's going on, and you know, experience matters too. So you can't just be the thing about a lot of artists that I try to explain to the crew is some people sign up for things more than they can, like they bite off more than they can chew, and then they don't get it done. Or artists have panic attacks, you know. Writers and artists just disappear in the middle of the night. Even they've signed a contract and they freak out and they leave the country and they you think I'm joking around, but I'm not. I am not. It's happened. Not to VeeFriends, but definitely other publishers I worked for. They're like, what happened to so-and-so? They're like, I hope he's alive. He's alive somewhere, but he's just left the country, left all of his belongings behind. And then that person comes back after like a 2-year hiatus or a 6-month hiatus and is like, okay guys, I'm ready to start again. It's like, no man, you blew it. We gave your job to someone else. Real story. Can't say who. Wasn't VeeFriends. It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's a good hint for you. But I went and they say like, I went and I grew up, and it's like, yeah, but this is a business too. So like, we got deadlines and everybody's working hard, and you gotta be professional. You know, deadlines are important. You get an opportunity and you gotta kind of take it, not just disappear on everybody. So, yeah. And we're in a position too where we have a couple different things. We've got a lot of people reach out to us all the time. I get it probably, daily almost. People saying like, hey, will you hire me? Will you hire me? And it's like, we'll find a way to make like a submissions process. because on my side, I'm also the one, I don't like it. I don't like artists to be doing things on spec, you know, but you can't really afford to pay everybody to do sample work either, right? I mean, we could afford to pay, but this is not the point. The point would be that I don't like to waste artists' time. But the reality is that if there's a tryout process or something like that, I think that's probably what we're going to do. I'm going to build a little like Marvel tryout kind of thing. Marvel used to have the Marvel tryout book where you would pay for the book and then you would submit your pages, you know. So you're paying for the privilege. We're not going to do that. We could do that, but we're not going to do that. But it'll be like hey, here's a sample script. See how fast you could do it, but not rush it. And then, you know, if the project was right, we would have a portfolio of different artists for different styles, and we would like you, right? That kind of thing. And that's pretty typical across publishers. We'll be building something like that. And it's you know, it's business. So it's not like a friends club. We're VeeFriends and we care about everybody, but we just can't hire everybody or anything like that. That's just not, you know, realistic. Craig. Good morning. Craig. I'm laughing because we talked a lot about Gary B at the summit, at the comic summit. So when you said time away and I'm refreshed, I am refreshed. I'm definitely refreshed, but I haven't had, like, there's been no time for my brain to not think about VeeFriends for probably a month. Every day is like, wake up, think about VeeFriends all day. So I'm definitely going to need to do some yard work, or the weather's getting nice. I got to clear this office. Got to do something. The Eerie Files, what's up? Tried to draw on their iPhone with a pen. Yeah, it's hard. I know I got a friend that draws on their Galaxy, their cell phone. What is this? Sean Atkins. Let's take a look at him real quick. I'm going to get delayed here. Derailed, but that's okay. It's my stream. I can do what I want. Sean Atkins. Wait till you see this. I think it's Sean Atkins. S. Atkins. Sean, do you have your comics up on here? Let's see if it's in his links. He's got a new one. I can't think of the name off the time of... Oh, man. Coffee House Comics. I gotta... Come on, Sean. It's Coffee House Comics. I'm almost positive. Let me search this. Coffee House Comics. There we go. Check this out. This is Sean Atkins. And he draws all of this stuff. He's a local Pittsburgh friend of mine. He's been around for a long time. But he hasn't really done anything like major nationally. He draws all of this on like the Galaxy on his like a little tablet, I believe. Maybe he upgraded, but like I know he's just drawing on a small little Galaxy tablet with a little stylus. But his stylus is just so cool, so good. So again, you know, we might like say, hey, look at this. This is super wild. Eastbound Cosmic. At one point, I wanted to team up with Sean to do a roller derby comic. And sometimes he pops into chat here too. But I'm always just looking for, like, you know, it's such a unique, like, just cool. Like Andy from our president would say, like, effing cool. You know? Like, you don't know it until you see it. But then it's just effing cool, you know? So, yeah. That's interesting to me. Shout out to Sean. There's so many artists out there that are just kind of undiscovered and, you know, not just like doing it for the love of it. And that's the other thing. When I encounter artists who are like, hey, I want a job. And I'm like, show me what you've been working on. And they're like, no, I've not been working on anything, but, you know. And I go, well, you know, be ready. I got this. That's what that sticker means down there. Stay sharp. Stay sharp. If you're wanting to do anything creative for a living, you got to be making your stuff right now for yourself and showing the passion for it. And then when an opportunity arises, you're ready. You're ready to rock and roll. And when we call on you, we want you to be ready to rock. Are you ready to rock? Probably not. No offense. I've not met too many people who are ready to rock. I'm like, are you ready to rock? No, but I'm ready to have a panic attack. Somebody else asked me, do you ever get intimidated or feel like, you know, nervous around Gary? And the answer is no. And for the same reason that I said, I feel like I've known him forever. Even though I haven't known him personally forever, I just feel like I know what he's looking for, and I know the level of commitment and, you know, that kind of stuff that he's looking for in the work. And so, no, I don't feel intimidated at all. I feel like he's like my cousin or like my old friend or something. Like, I feel like we grew up together or something, because we're the only guys in the freaking company, I think, that know the 80s and the 1980s references. Well, now Chris is with us, Chris Faison, but so if he says Laugh Olympics, no one knows what the hell he's talking about except for me and Chris Faison. You know, we're like, oh yeah, Laugh Olympics. Like, it was like the Hanna-Barbera. Does anyone even know what Hanna-Barbera was? I mean, a lot of you on this stream probably do, but they would take like Scooby-Doo versus the different Hanna-Barbera cartoons would have their little teams, and they would do races and, you know, little competition. Imagine that. Imagine why Gary loved that show so much when he was a kid. These characters would compete. The Scooby-Doobies versus the whatever. It was wild. And it was weird. You know, it was weird. Because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't necessarily canon when they did that stuff. It was just fun. You know. Oh, what's going on here? Craig just saw your message about your friend that passed away. 42. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's so young. Definitely reach out. Say hello and I love you to your friends and family. You never know. Man, you never know. I don't like to take a dark turn on these shows, but it's part of life, you know? Like, you got to talk about it. A lot of people, for years, I avoided it. I avoided talking about bad things like death, but I don't really consider it a bad thing anymore. I consider it just like a thing, you know? It's like, man, it's unfortunate, but it's also like, you know, you need your people there for you. And I've come to believe that we're never really gone. So your energy, your soul, whatever you want to call it, carries on. Maybe it's just in the heart of your friends or the stories and the memories, but I kind of feel like there's a little bit something else out there. Maybe we don't got it all figured out because we're just humans. But you never know. You never know when it's going to be your time. One day it'll be mine. Hopefully it won't be like some kind of crazy, stupid, sudden thing, or like, wow, he was walking down the street and he choked on a fly and died on the sidewalk. I mean, that almost happened to me. How stupid that would have been. You know, you don't really get to choose, you know, for the most part, how you leave the world, I guess. But you could wish he was like, you know what? I hope that I just go out literally doing what I love. Like, it would be cool if I was just not like now. Like, I'm 80, 90, 100. I'm just at the drawing board and I just go like, you know what? I feel a little tired. And I just, boom, gone. That's usually how cartoonists go, by the way. And I'm all for it. But not today. Today. And for a long time, we're going to do this. But yeah, man, sorry about your friend. I had so much of that last year. Just random death happening and surprise things like that, and stories of friends passing away. I'm 49, so when you get to be about 49, suddenly your Facebook feed is full of like, oh my gosh, I didn't know so and so died. It puts a lot of things into perspective, you know. Craig, I'll cheer you up again by saying we talked about Gary B a lot. So you picked a good one, my friend. Caddy Kid, thanks for watching. I first saw you doing this on LinkedIn. I don't know why we stopped doing it on LinkedIn. One day I was told, don't do it on LinkedIn anymore. So I didn't. I stopped putting it on LinkedIn. But thanks for coming over from there. And, you know, appreciate you guys watching. I'll be back. I'm here till 9:30 today, and then I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday for sure at 8 a.m. And I've got a lot to draw, and I've got a lot to talk about. We did the comic offsite. I can't really talk about the ideas that came from the offsite, but like I said, if you're following along these streams, chances are you're going to hear about things first. Where you're going to see little sneak peeks of things and go like, oh man, I saw that on DJ's stream and I see what he was inking now, you know, or whatever. Because I get a little impatient sometimes, but I'm really feeling really good about the plan that we have for comics and for the collectability and the building of this thing that we're doing. This, you know, we don't really have anything else to compare it to right now except for saying Pokemon-like, because there are the characters and there's the trading cards and we have that. And we've got the cartoons and more cartoons and more comics coming, and but it really, to me, it feels like its own. You'll see, it's its own thing for sure. And I have no doubts that not only is VeeFriends, but something from VeeFriends, anything could pop off out of VeeFriends, you know. What is going on? Siri must have heard me say something else. I don't even know. He's got a little recliner situation happening here. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really fun time. And then I had the really trippy time where everyone had left. And our flights weren't until Friday, so Chris and I were there and in the house by ourselves, and I was walking up this trail. You can see the video over on my personal Instagram, but I'm walking on this trail talking to my wife, and I look, something really gigantic flies past, and I'm like, whoa, well, I think that was an eagle. And sure enough, it was a bald eagle. And then I'm like, I gotta go, so I hung up on her because I was like, I can't use the camera on my phone when I'm talking to her. And I was like, I gotta get this. And then there was 2 eagles, and they were just together, 2 bald eagles, and they were flying so fast, and they were so big, and they were doing like dive bomb moves, crazy stuff in the sky. I can see why the military jets or whatever, the screaming eagles, it was pretty wild. I was like, wow. I mean, I've seen eagles before, even around here a couple times, but these eagles were some serious eagles. They were not effing around. Club ADDD, good morning over on Instagram. What's going on? Hey, let's open this up real quick. Take a little mini break here. I'm just thinking up this first tier of one of the next Sunday comics featuring FU Monday Mole. Which I'm just calling Monday Mole in the comic strip because, it's in the newspapers. We got to keep it a little tame, I guess. But if you know, that kind of situation. I saw an eagle on the side of the freeway last week. Yeah, that's dangerous for those birds. They get hit by cars all the time. All right. I use Procreate. Eerie files. I'm using Procreate. All right, let's see what we got. We got a Lava Karma Kiwi. Does not beat the Bubblegum Angel in my mind. We're looking for like cool, like fancy ones like this, the diamond ones or the detailed ones, which are all put away right now. What else? Any other highlights from the trip? No, I guess it was just cool to work with everybody together in a room and brainstorm. And, Rips was there too, and that was new. That was kind of a new thing to have, Rips involved in like some of the brainstorming. Actually, I'm a big fan of Rips's humor. He's got a lot of puns and a lot of dad jokes, and I'm a big fan of that. And as a matter of fact, a couple of those things came out to be really like they're going to be something big. What started off as just sort of like a what if we did a da-da-da-da-da, and it was like, oh no, and then like suddenly we're developing this crazy idea, and it's like, wow. So again, having that group of brains together from different ages, different backgrounds, so cool. We're gonna do it again. Gary wants to do it all the time now, so we're probably gonna do it again soon. He said he wants to do it a few times a year. Marvel and DC, they do stuff like that where they map out their universe. Oh gosh, yeah, there's so many things I learned for the VeeFriends universe that I don't really want to talk about, but man, some wild things are planned for the future. If you have been waiting and hoping and wishing, it's coming, and it's going to be insanely amazing. Rips's dad jokes are so good because Rips's dad is awesome too. So I think he gets his jokes from his dad. Shout out to Rips's dad and Rips's mom. Why Minnesota? Hard to say. I think there was just some other business happening there, and Gary had the time, so we ended up all meeting there, and it was good because it was like you never would have thought, let's go to Minnesota. But I'm glad we did. I'm glad it was there. And there really wasn't like, hey, let's go check out this tourist thing or whatever. It was, I don't think we left it. I didn't leave the Airbnb until, it was a big venue, you know, it was like a little mini mansion. Big house, let's say. It wasn't really a mansion, but I didn't leave until Thursday when I had to go to like a FedEx store to mail, or a UPS store to mail stuff. So I was pretty much locked down in the zone, in the element of developing and planning and all that. And I think it reminded me of, I heard the, what's the lady's name from Harry Potter? I keep forgetting. Harry Potter lady, guys. What's her name? Why? J.K. Rowling. You know. J.K. Rowling. When she was working on writing Harry Potter, she would book these hotels. And she booked like a castle kind of hotel to go write Harry Potter from. And it helped inspire her for like the Hogwarts castle and stuff like that. That's what I heard. I saw a story once about that. And there's another writer that I've heard of who would do the similar things. She would book a hotel and just go there and work. Kind of locked down in another city, someplace she didn't know. Distractions are gone. That kind of thing, you know. Pretty cool. Clubhouse said it's insanely impressive how things are coming together, and I'm excited to look back in a year or two and remember days like this. Yeah, Topps Chrome is going to be insane, and you guys don't even know. There's some more. They've said it, so I'm comfortable saying it. But there's things, they've held back all the really cool stuff. You've already seen stuff that's cool. There's some other cool stuff that's even bigger in that set to chase in that, which I'm sure everybody will hear about soonish. But man, pretty cool stuff. Gary V kept me prisoner, LOL. Not really, I could have left. I was there of my own free will. But yeah, it's wild watching Gary operate. I mean, some of the other people, you know, Andy and May and the people that have been around Gary like day to day are used to seeing me operate fast, quick. There's a lot of fast decision making, you know, not a whole lot of messing around. Decisions get made. Action happens, and I like that. I'm a man of action. Enough talk. Let's get to doing it. Right. Little floorboards here. Also need like a little. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and make that black. Let's do that. Same thing over here. I think I can probably get away with doing one of these. Maybe room for some something there, something here. We'll figure it out. Rips' dad jokes are at least 50 years old. Oh yeah. Gary coined myself and Chris Faison. We were going nuts on puns. I can't tell you the puns that we were doing, but man, we were going nuts. And he was calling us the Pun Brothers and the Pun Police. And I'm all for the Pun Brothers. And then I looked at Gary and I was like, we learned it from watching you. And again, I don't feel like most of the room didn't understand what I was saying. He did. That's all that matters. So he's like, yeah. Because, like, you know, that was one of the big things is, like, a lot of our comics take a tone of, like, after school special, very, like, heavy handed a little bit sometimes, like with the lesson. And Gary's like, hey guys, why don't we do more slapstick type stuff? We need a little bit more fun. And I was like, I'm all for that. Let's do that. Absolutely. So the vibe of things will change a lot as well. Some serious things. There's some fun things. I would say there's some, like, almost every genre is covered in what we came up with. We've got parables, we've got science fiction, we've got horror, believe it or not. We've got some kind of romance things. We really have covered the basis of storytelling, and I'm excited. I'll be doing a lot of the writing and guiding of that, so I'm looking forward to that. Might even do some of that today. What is it, 9:29? Okay. There's a lot to do. So prioritization. Prioritizing the projects and then getting to it. And we've got a whole barrage of comics coming very soon in a very unique way that you guys are going to love. And it is cool and innovative. Horror starring the Oak Monster. That would be cool. We did talk a little bit about the Oak Monster. Okay. Well, guys, it's been real. I got to duck out. I am DJ, the cartoonist here at VeeFriends Director of Comics. We got a lot more coming. I'll be back on... I will be back on... Where's the thing? Wednesday and Friday, 8 a.m. If you've been watching and you're digging this stream, please email us at comics@veefriends.com, especially if you're new. Say hello, drop a line to us. And make sure you follow on VeeFriends Comics. You don't want to miss any kind of cool stories or whatever, or little sneak peeks. Everything I've been talking about, you're going to see kind of come across and develop and watch it live in your face. Across these streams, including Ali Castro streams over on TikTok. So have a great day, everybody. I will see you soon. Oh yeah, VeeFriends are forever. See you soon.